Yeah, and welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this live stream, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. So sit back, relax, grab your eye patch, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the live stream. So Metal Gear Solid 5 actually has two chapters, and this is the first chapter, Ground Zeroes, and it's all about, Metal Gear Solid 5 is all about that man right there on the right hand corner of your screen, sitting down looking fairly miserable, Big Boss himself, the daddy of Solid, Solidus, and Liquid Snake. So, in case you don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Metal Gear series. I even played the original Metal Gear on NES a couple of years back. It was great to be able to actually play the first game in the series. But the very first Metal Gear game that I played was Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1. And I played 2, 3, surprisingly never played 4, and I played a bit of 5, so I'm actually hoping to complete Metal Gear Solid 5 for the first time, which is why I actually decided to do this live stream and actually just go back to the very beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5. So yeah, huge fan. So I grew up with the Solid Snake timeline told in Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid 1, and Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. But Metal Gear Solid 3 was the beginning of the Big Boss timeline, and as I mentioned, he is the father of Solid Snake, as well as Solidus and Liquid Snake. So Metal Gear Solid told, the story of Big Boss. Then there was a couple of Metal Gear games released on PSP, which unfortunately I never got the opportunity to play, which continued the story of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. So Metal Gear Solid 5 is the continuation of the story of Big Boss. So I'm just going to get my live stream up and running on my phone. Okay, and get an audio check as well. I'm just going to get my audio is A-OK, visual is A-OK, so I'm actually kind of excited for this live stream actually, because I feel like I've been neglecting Metal Gear Solid 5 for a very long time. And how do you do to my first lovely viewer? You are very welcome back to Green Hill Gaming. I hope you're doing very well, and I hope you enjoy my live stream of Metal Gear Solid 5. Ground is the first chapter of Metal Gear Solid. Big Boss, the daddy of Solid Snake, Solidus, and Liquid Snake. So yeah, I'm actually quite excited to get stuck into Metal Gear Solid 5 again, and hopefully I'll actually complete it this time. I mean, look at how long ago this game released. 2014. So I think one of the reasons I actually never get around to completing some games is because I get overwhelmed by just how big, no pun intended, Big Boss, how big the games actually are, in every way. Length, just the length of the story, just the amount of content in the game. I find sometimes that can be intimidating. I found a solution, and it's just to take my time playing the game. and that's what I'm going to do with Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm even taking my time looking at the title screen. Should also point out that this game is, for anyone who doesn't know, Saber! How are you keeping? Welcome back to Green Hill Gaming. I hope you enjoy, hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoy my live stream of Metal Gear Solid 5. Me and you both. I think the one thing that we can actually agree on. Now I'm only joking, but yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid myself. Huge fan, and I've been meaning, Saber, to return to Metal Gear Solid 5 because I never actually got around to completing it. And you don't have to worry about, you know, spoiling the story for me because I did look up the story of Metal Gear Solid 5 online. So this game, if anyone doesn't know, was created by the legendary Hideo Kojima, and the reason he's legendary is because he pretty much established the Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear series. So once again, I'm going to take my time with Metal Gear Solid 5 in every way possible. I'm actually gone Metal Gear Solid crazy at the moment because I'm just starting Metal Gear Solid 5 again for the first time in a very long time. I'm also playing Metal Gear Solid.
Breaking Bad. That show is a fucking masterpiece. You should finish it, man. Trust me, it's the highest rated show ever.
Wait, you watched the entire Breaking Bad series since the last time that I was speaking to you? My God. That is hardcore binge. I know, I've heard all the great things about it. Yeah, I actually was watching a bit of it a couple of years back, but I never got around to completing it. So yeah, I'm actually playing Metal Gear Solid also, and I'm going to be starting Metal Gear Solid.
Shows quickly.
I'm going to be starting Metal Gear Solid 3 tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting and it's going to be confusing because I'm going to be playing the very beginning of the Big Boss timeline, Metal Gear Solid 3, the very latest in the Big Boss timeline, Metal Gear Solid 5, and then I'm going to be playing the Solid Snake timeline, which is years and years and years after the events of Metal Gear Solid 5. So it's yeah, it should be very, very interesting. It's going to be 2 seconds now, back in a second.
It only has 5 seasons, like first season has 7 episodes, and others are 13, then final season is 16 episodes.
And I am back, but that's actually surprising. 5 seasons only. I would have thought that they would have had a lot more seasons, and that for some strange reason. So the first season has 7 episodes, and the others are 13 and final. Jesus, so they're really you can tell so.
Episodes is 40_59 minutes.
So you can tell so that the show like just became more and more popular as each season released. Yeah, I gotta get around to watching it. English. I accept to sell my soul to the Patriots. Or can I just do accept? Yeah. So, game start, backstory, cassette tapes, manual, options, save that up. I am actually going to go straight to the backstory because Big Boss, he has quite an expansive backstory before the events of Metal Gear Solid 5. As I mentioned, the beginning of his story is Metal Gear Solid 3. And quite a few things happened to him.
Ground Zero is super short, it's like a teaser for the full
It
game.
pretty much is. It's pretty much the most expensive demo out there. And demos are free. But it is what it is. I only paid like €3 for it now. I actually got it free, I believe, when it first released. I forget how. I think it was free with PlayStation Plus. But I only paid like €2.99 for it today, so I'm not going to complain. So yeah, a lot has happened, Big Boss, after the events of Metal Gear Solid 3. And so that will all be explained now through this backstory. So once again, this is Big Boss. This is not Solid Snake. It's certainly not Solidus Snake. He would have to be a lot fatter. And it's not Liquid Snake. This is Big Boss. This is the father of Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solidus Snake. And this is his backstory.
Far Cry 5 is free for 3 or 4 days only, and you have to download it from the demo.
I did hear that, actually. Fantastic game, by the way, Far Cry 5. So I feel a lot more relaxed now than I did when I was first playing and live streaming this game. I must have been very tensed when I was first streaming, you know, years ago. Whereas now I'm more relaxed. I can take my time telling all of you lovely people the amazing backstory of Big Boss. For us, there is no victory. Snake. Cool indeed. So Big Boss, he has the same code name as his sons, Solidus and Liquid Snake. So he was the original Snake, basically. There lived a man who was a legend among mercenaries. A man who put together a formidable unit of soldiers of fortune long before the advent of private military companies that dared to call itself a nation. A man who, with his nation at his back, made an enemy of modern capitalist society and world. This is his story. So this is Big Boss's story. I really like the principles of what Big Boss stood for. You know, ignoring nations, flags, the politics that goes along with it. He went where he was needed. And he stood for what he believed in. He wasn't going to be a puppet to governments and armies and politics and flags. He stood on his own 2 feet. That's my take on it anyway. So he formed a unit of soldiers who shared his morals and beliefs, and more importantly shared the morals of his mentor, the boss, which will be explained. Oh, sorry, I'm actually over-explaining things now, as I always do. We're not mercenaries. We're not a foreign legion. MSF is a business, a new kind of business. As a quote from Miller. What's really interesting there is, as I mentioned, I'm actually playing Metal Gear Solid as well at the moment on my PlayStation 1 Classic, and Miller actually debuted, I believe, in that game. He was the master. He was Solid Snake's master. He actually trained Solid Snake. And he was actually killed in Metal Gear Solid by Liquid Snake, who posed as Miller. Known by code names such as Snake and later Big Boss, he proved himself as an agent of US Special Forces Unit Fox, but a certain incident spurred him to part ways with the military, and he is said to have roamed the world's war zones as a gun for hire. So he abandoned his military. He abandoned his country. This is basically the events of Metal Gear Solid 3, which I'm actually going to be restarting as well tomorrow. I actually have that game on Nintendo 3DS. It's been a while since I played it, so it's going to be stereoscopic, glasses-free 3D, which is fantastic. Going back to my 3DS, can you imagine that? In 1974, Snake and his partner, Miller, were running a small mercenary outfit in Colombia, where they were visited by a man claiming to be a professor from Costa Rica's University of Peace. According to this professor, there have been several incidents involving a mysterious armed group in Costa Rica, a country without a military of its own. The professor was accompanied by one of his students, a girl named Paz, who was being abducted and assaulted by this group. The professor and Paz offered to hire Snake to drive the group out of Costa Rica. However, Snake saw through the deception in an instant. Of course, because he's the legendary soldier, he is Big Boss himself. My name is Paz, and I will do anything to protect my namesake.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. Well, are you dehydrated? Not too bad actually, although we got a drink of orange juice now in a moment. The professor was actually a KGB agent, and the armed group in question backed by the CIA.
Yeah. Bayek the goat.
Damien, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, buddy. How are you getting on? And you're very welcome to my live stream of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, the first chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5. Bioshock.
Have you finished
man,
Phantom Pain?
Glad you're enjoying Bioshock. Bioshock. Glad you're enjoying Bioshock. Sounds like a really fun game, and I'm actually looking forward to getting stuck into it actually soon. No, I have not completed Phantom Pain yet, so I'm actually hoping to finally complete Phantom Pain. But I'm going to start with the first chapter
Pain
of
Metal. Too long. I finished it on my terrible PC.
On your terrible PC. As long as it is, I vow to finally complete Phantom Pain.
Hi.
As Jackie, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming. How are you keeping? And I hope you enjoy my live stream of the first chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5
them all to your account, right?
Ground Zeroes.
The Bayek games.
Oh, they're all saved.
3.
The trilogy, all saved, thankfully. So I will, I'm actually looking forward to playing some Bioshock soon. The Cold War was no stranger to such overseas clandestine operations between US and Soviet agents, but the CIA's motives were a mystery. Paz had escaped from one of the CIA group's facilities with a cassette tape. On it was the voice of the woman known as the Mother of Special Forces, the Boss. Big Boss's mentor. With a popular song from 1973 playing in the background, it was reasonable to conclude the recording was made recently. Snake was stunned because he had already... I'm jumping ahead as I always do. The boss was supposed to be dead. What was she doing in Costa Rica? I'll do it for the girl, for Paz. Snake. The boss was Snake's mentor and the only woman he ever loved. For 10 years prior, Snake was forced to take the boss's life as part of a mission, a bitter memory that still haunted him. Despite realizing that she simply could not have survived, Snake was unable to turn the professor down, telling himself he was intervening as a deterrent for a defenseless country, as well as to honor the virtue of Paz's name, peace. Snake departed for Costa Rica. Once there, he ran into a unit of the Sandinista National Liberation Front. He had fled Nicaragua. Did I pronounce that correctly? I definitely didn't. After rising up against the pro-American Somoza regime, these rebels had become targets for the CIA group, who killed their commandant and left the unit in shambles. Everyone treats me like a child. I couldn't stand it anymore. Chico. Snake rescued the Sandinistas and invited them back to Mother Base, the new offshore base of operations provided to them by the KGB. The fallen commandant's children, Amanda and Chico, saw something of their hero. I heard of this guy, but I can't pronounce the name. Javera in Snake, and grew to idolize him. This triggered a rapid expansion of Snake's forces. However, he was still no closer to discovering what the CIA was really up to in Costa Rica. What are the CIA ever up to, huh? I believe in peace through nuclear deterrence. Yui, who I believe is actually the father of Otacon. Snake then encountered Yui, a wheelchair-bound scientist being forced to work for the CIA. Yui revealed the CIA's terrifying plot. They were developing a system of which, following radar detection of an enemy nuclear launch, an AI would analyze all available data and automatically execute retaliatory nuclear strike at appropriate targets. Although designed to increase the power of nuclear deterrence, Coldman, the CIA's Central American Station chief, planned to actually launch a nuke to demonstrate the effectiveness of automated retaliation. This demonstration was only 5 days away. Snake rushed to the development lab to stop their AI from being completed. You've left everything behind. Your country, your identity, your past and ideals. But there's still one thing you haven't let go of. Miller. Upon infiltrating the lab, Snake was greeted by the voice from the tape, that same voice of his lost mentor. But this was in fact the voice of the Retaliatory Systems AI. Its developer, Dr. Strangelove, had selected the boss, the so-called greatest soldier who ever lived, as the AI's intellectual model. However, succumbing to personal obsession, Strangelove had deviated from the research's original purpose. Not only had she reproduced the boss's voice, She was on the verge of bringing her psyche back to life in AI form, driven by a bizarre kind of love. What if the boss could truly be revived in every detail, if only in AI form? Snake hesitated as Strangelove's idea touched his sense of loss. His guard down, Snake was immediately captured. The boss's AI was completed and Peace Walker, the nuclear-equipped walk-in battle tank housing this Vitality AI system, went active. So that is the events of Peace Walker, which was a Metal Gear game released on PSP, which unfortunately I never had the opportunity to play. And that was a continuation of Big Boss's timeline. I believe it continued after the events of Metal Gear Solid 3. I'd love to be able to play those games, to be honest. I was meant to fight. I'm a gun, Snake. So I also want to remind people again that this Snake is Big Boss. This is the father of Solid, Liquid, and Solidus Snake, the OG Snake. So this is not Solid Snake. Snake fought in vain as Peace Walker prepared to fire the nuke, but in the face of catastrophe, it was ultimately a machine that saved mankind from nuclear annihilation. The boss's AI sank Peace Walker to the bottom of the lake Nicaragua, stopping the launch. With the crisis behind him, Snake took advantage of his recent mobilization to continue Mother Base's expansion indefinitely. Snake understood that the AI had acted to save the world, but that did not change the fact that this system, based on the boss's mind, had chosen to lay down its weapon. As a weapon himself, Snake felt the act to be a rejection of his life. Undeterred, Snake and Miller invited Doctors Yui and Strangelove to Mother Base to develop Metal Gear Zeke, a bipedal weapon they eventually equipped with a nuclear warhead, suddenly making their unit a nuclear power. So a mercenary group with no flag, no nation, that has its own nuclear power. A true free nation. Free from the ideals of politics and government. This place will no longer be my heaven, Paz. Meanwhile, Mother Base took in Paz, already an orphan, but now left without even her KGB benefactor following the end of the crisis. However, this was all engineered by an intelligent agency known as Cypher. Under Cypher's order, Paz got close to Amanda, Chico, and the others while exploring more and more of the base, secretly plotting to hijack Zeke. Her objective was to use the weapon as a bargaining chip to force Snake into becoming the military arm for Cypher. Paz's attempt failed when Snake defeated Zeke, and she was thrown beneath the waters of the Caribbean. It was only then that Snake learned Chico had fallen in love with her. A diary she kept while on the base was discovered several days later. It revealed a young girl torn between serving Cypher and following her heart. This is Chico. Cypher's holding me on a US military base in Cuba. Chico. Perhaps due to Paz revealing the existence of Snake's nuke to Cypher, the International Atomic Energy Agency contacted Mother Base to request that it agreed to a nuclear inspection. If word got out that Snake's unit had a nuclear weapon, it would face severe criticism from around the world. But Yui, acting on his own, informed the IAEA that Mother Base would allow the inspection. His reasoning was that as long as they kept Zeke and his nuke hidden from the inspectors, they could demonstrate to the international community that they were not a threat. The option to call off the inspection having expired, Snake and his men reluctantly got preparations underway. Meanwhile, Amanda deployed to Cuba to assist the Sandinistas, learned that Paz had survived. The timing could not have been worse. Suspecting her of turning her back on the organization, Cypher had captured Paz and was interrogating her at a US military base on the southern tip of Cuba. Chico learned of this and set out to save Paz by himself. It was not long before a radio message from Chico reached Mother Base saying he too had been captured. I know it hurts right now, but it'll all be over soon. Paz. With an idea as to Cypher's true identity, Snake could not allow what Chico and Paz knew to fall into their hands. Furthermore, if he could rescue Paz, he might be able to get information from her that would help him fight back against Cypher. On the eve of the nuclear inspection, Snake made the decision to leave for Cuba. So that is basically what Big Boss has been up to since the events of Metal Gear Solid 3, the beginning of the Big Boss timeline. Alright, so these are a few cassette tapes. I don't have much at the moment. So the Ground Zeroes is a pretty short game, but you can collect a few things as you play. So there is somewhat of a replay value to it, including collecting cassette tapes. So I actually don't have any right now. I don't think I do any. It's not. Oh no, I do. This is some info. Now there's quite a lot here, right? But as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the live stream, I am going to take my time. It's something I do a lot more of now when I play games, particularly games that I never got around to completing. So these are some info cassette tapes. Pre-mission brief, mission background and intel. So I am going to play all.
This is a one-man infiltration mission, boss. Equipment is the bare essentials. Anything else will be OSP. The target location is a prison camp on a US military base. Those Marines have the place locked down tight. Your only backup will be one extraction chopper. We can't send anything else. You won't. Again, this is infiltration, a sneaking mission. Your #1 priority is remaining undetected. Use discretion before engaging any guards you encounter. Be mindful of their sensory perceptions: sight, sound, smell, and pain. Fortunately, these atmospheric conditions will continue until dawn. That should provide you with some cover.
At least the weather's on my side.
Your mission objective is to rescue Chico and Paz. According to Chico, they're both being held at an old prison facility. Recon from the intel unit supports this, so it's safe to assume that's where they are. Once you've gotten them to the RV, call in the extraction chopper. I'll monitor the situation and offer guidance from here, but you'll be the one in the field. How you handle this mission is entirely up to you, boss. Snake, yesterday we received official communication from the IAEA. It says, it has come to our attention that your organization recently purchased nuclear fuel from Uzbekistan authorities. We request permission to inspect your facilities.
What a load of bullshit.
Yeah, they're after Metal Gear Zeke's nuclear warhead. I'm betting this is payback from Cypher after Paz's leak.
Using the UN.
There's no telling how much influence they have. But the IAEA can only do inspections in countries that are party to the NPT.
And we're not a country.
Exactly. We haven't signed a safeguards agreement with the IAEA over peaceful nuclear use, and we're not obligated to report any nuclear material we have, nor information about any nuclear facilities. The IAEA has no authority to inspect us.
But despite all that...
That nuke's our last line of defense. We don't want to announce we have it until the world is preparing to wipe us off the map. Until then, we let everyone think we're just a private army with conventional fire. That the problem's how to hide the nuke in Metal Gear. But I gotta tell you, he was all for it.
I see. But there's no way we can have the IAEA poking around here.
So what do we do? Ignore them?
Send them an official letter of refusal. Say that we're a private organization and we've done nothing to attract this suspicion.
You got it.
We finished Zeke's waterproofing reinforcement yesterday. The day after tomorrow, we'll be done installing the main depth.
So I just want to pause there. So the voice actor for Yui is actually, I believe, the same voice actor that voiced Otacon in a lot of Metal Gear games. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. But Yui, I believe, is actually the father of Otacon, so that's interesting.
Roll tank, the compressed air tank, and the attitude control propeller pod.
Huey.
If the underwater test goes well, next week we'll try the 300-foot seabed depth.
Drop the act, Huey. How did we end up agreeing to the nuclear inspection?
Because after you sent that letter, I told them. After careful reconsideration, we agree to your request. And frankly, we should be inspected. This is our chance. If they come and go without discovering the nuke, we can tell the world we're clean. Of course, it's risky, and we'll have to make sure everything's perfect, but it'll be worth it.
Huey, can they do an inspection without going through the Board of Governors?
We contacted the IAEA's admin branch, and they said there's no record of us being brought up at any of the board's meetings.
I'd say probably a preliminary inspection to determine whether we should be referred to the board. So it's bound to be a small inspection team, and they won't be here that long. Don't worry, leave everything to me.
Has the media gotten wind of this?
Yeah, 2 major Western networks want to do stories on us. I planned on saying yes.
What? You want to broadcast this place to the world?
That's why I agreed to the inspection. This is a golden opportunity. We can use the media to prove to the world we don't have a nuke. Besides, even if we said no, it would just be delaying the inevitable.
Kaz, our hands are tied now. Start getting the place ready.
Thanks, boss.
Don't get the wrong idea. You set it up so that any more changes of heart will arouse suspicion, that's all.
Zeke stays, but we'll have to move all other AFVs to shore. Any potential troublemakers can go with them for some mandatory R&R. Sound good, boss?
Just do it. About the inspection, what do we tell the men?
The truth. What else? The one thing we don't need to worry about is anyone here spilling the beans about Zeke.
Good point. What about the Sandinistas? There's still quite a few of them left on the base.
I hate to say it, but it won't look good having Soviet bloc personnel here. The problem is, moving a group that size in a hurry would look even worse.
At least Amanda's on assignment in Cuba. They'd recognize her. She should stay put for now.
All civilians save Huey will have to return to their countries.
Even your Parisian.
Of course, we'll get her whatever paper she needs. Dr. Strangelove's departure came at a perfect time. The less Zeke-related staff here, the better.
Wait, she left?
That's right. You were away on a mission. She left last week. There's nothing cooking in AI weapons research, and Zeke is complete. There was really no reason for her to hang around.
I'm surprised Huey let her go that easy.
Yeah, his crush on Strangelove was never much of a secret, huh? He followed her everywhere while Zeke was in development. Boy, would she get pissed. But he does have a lot on his mind right now. I've got bigger issues to deal with. That's what he said.
That's the spirit, Huey.
10 days ago, we got reports that Paz was still alive.
She survived.
She was rescued by Belizean fishermen who found her drifting in the Caribbean.
So what's the plan? Silence her before we're compromised?
No. I've got something else in mind. Our friends at Cypher suspect Paz could be a double agent. She's being held for interrogation at a camp on the southern tip of Cuba.
Black site. Nice. A slice of American pie on communist soil, and out of U.S. legal jurisdiction.
The upcoming inspection of Mother Base has to be connected somehow. The timing's too perfect.
The UN's nuclear inspection.
My guess is they're trying to corroborate Paz's leak.
We're an army without a nation.
Word of our capabilities gets out, and we'll have the whole world out to shut us down. Having an American private intelligence agency involved's bad news. Cypher's the ones who sent Paz to us in the first place.
She knows their true nature.
Right. Paz is our only link to Cypher. If she's still alive, we need her on our side. If not us, who else is gonna rescue that bitch?
When do we do it?
The inspection comes first. We'll deal with us afterwards.
Do the men know?
Word has started to spread. The information came from Cuba through Amanda. One of the base personnel used to belong to El Frente. I'll tell everyone we don't concern ourselves with the survival of enemy spies. We need them focused on the inspection. And if we get her back here and she isn't cooperative, there's still plenty of room for her in the ocean.
Works for me. What about Chico? He had a chance to stop Paz from hijacking Zeke and he blew it. He's carried that guilt ever since. Kid really did care about her.
Chico, it's hard to say how he'll react.
Have Amanda call him out to Cuba. He shouldn't be here right now.
Good idea. They haven't seen each other in a while. Little time with Big Sis and he'll forget all about you-know-who. What? Still no sign of Chico?
What's going on?
It's Amanda in Cuba. Our resupply package arrived, but Chico wasn't with it. Relax, Amanda. I'm sure he's just exploring Havana or something. First time in the big city. Could have gotten carried away.
Cos, wait. The boat Chico was on, did it stop anywhere before it got to Havana?
Yeah, it had to refuel at Santiago de Cuba. You don't think... Oh, shit. You gotta be kidding me. He does this now?
It's 60 miles from Santiago to the prison camp. Chico used to cross the mountains with the older Sandinistas like it was nothing. He'll make that in 3 days.
Still, even if he does find his way there...
You know how reckless he can be. Chico thinks we've abandoned Paz. That's why he's doing this.
We'll start by having the intel detachment in Cuba look for him. We can't let him be captured.
There's some cages to the east of a big building. It's an old, grassy facility. That's where we are. Help me, Snake.
It's a setup.
We have no choice.
Yeah, if Chico talks, he could blow the new cover up. We can't hold off until the inspection's over.
When can we be ready?
It'll take at least 16 hours to confirm the flight path and prep a bird. The intel unit has started reconning the area.
Sounds like I'll have to miss the inspection.
Boss, we'll just have to send someone else to get them out.
No. I'll go.
Yeah, Chico and Paz would only take orders from you anyway. And we can't go taking on those Marines at the base head on. It's gotta be off the radar, and it's gotta be you.
Hold down the fort, Cos.
Snake, you can forget about civil liberties where you're headed. God only knows what they'd do to you if you got caught. Do not let that happen. The Cubans leased the land to the U.S. as a gesture for helping them gain independence from Spain. The deal remains in effect.
So MGS6 is technically the first.
Or the US
Or am I wrong?
Metal Gear Solid 6? Well, like, if Metal Gear Solid 6 becomes a remake of Metal Gear, then it would, like, the first Metal Gear game in the timeline is Metal Gear. So there's Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then basically Metal Gear Solid 3. So basically Metal Gear Solid 3 is actually the beginning in the series. My apologies. So the big
Metal
boss...
Gear is set after Phantom Pain.
Yeah. So basically Metal Gear takes place after the events of Phantom Pain. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's kind of, the Metal Gear series has
Okay.
kind of a confusing timeline. Basically, There's the past timeline and then the present timeline. Basically, there's the Big Boss timeline and the Solid Snake timeline. So, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the beginning of the Big Boss timeline, which takes place before Metal Gear.
Was Phantom Pain unfinished also?
Yeah, there was a few missions that never got completed, unfortunately. There was even a mission 4, Guns of the Patriots, that never got completed either. I'd say that must have been down to the toxic relationship between Konami and Kojima. I'd say he was put under a lot of pressure to complete like Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 5. So yeah, there is quite a few missions in Phantom Pain that have not been completed. It's unfortunate, really, isn't it?
Independence the land. That's why America still operates the
Nippy nappy, I'm back, my time is lucky.
Licky lacky.
Ground Zero
Hacky
is better
wacky.
than Phantom Pain.
You reckon, Fisher? You reckon Ground Zeroes is better than Phantom Pain? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Turtle, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, and Fisher, welcome to Green Hill Gaming. I hope you're both doing very well, and I hope you enjoy my live stream of the first chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes. Just listening to some cassette tapes at the moment.
Hello. Surprisingly, Kojima actually followed Konami recently. Again asterisk.
Are you serious? The plot thickens once again. Oh, Jesus.
Problem is, it's leased land.
Meaning it isn't American soil, so the U.S. Constitution doesn't apply there. That allows them to withhold its civil rights protections.
Yeah, that's Uncle Sam's excuse. The area was originally only for detaining refugees from countries like Cuba and Haiti. But a few years ago, the CIA and its like started using it as a black site. Enemies of the state are renditioned there and subjected to extreme forms of interrogation. You can bet Cypher had a hand in that. As you'd expect, American and other Western human rights...
But he is apparently working with Xbox developing a cloud game or something.
A cloud game? Jesus Christ. Hopefully he sticks to PlayStation. At the very least. He's better off with PlayStation compared to Xbox.
There disappears down the memory hole.
Who knows what they're doing to Chico and Paz?
I'd like to interrogate her ourselves. But if worst comes to worst, make sure she's dead. Chico, on the other hand, we have to bring back. Fast. He knows too much about us.
Cos?
The area is surrounded by mines placed by both the U.S. and Cuba, making escape on foot impossible. You're heading into the line.
I'ma make this stream magic, I'ma mave my sentences rhyme the entire time like a maverick.
Good stuff, Turtle. Our resident rapper. I love it.
Like according to Kojima, Death Stranding was a success, so why would PlayStation let him go so easily if it was a success?
Yeah. Yeah, didn't it sell a lot of copies?
Like, why not continue the partnership?
Yeah, why not continue where the
Strange one.
money is? Pretty much the strange one. It did sell a lot of copies, didn't it? Death Stranding. It made a lot of money. I mean, obviously, like, it wasn't a critical success. A lot of people didn't like that game, myself included.
Did you
I just
hear
found
about VR2?
I did. It's going to be spectacular. Triple A, like blockbuster quality games are coming to VR2. And I heard recently it's going to support like 4K resolution. That is insane. I am hyped for that. But just to clear up any confusion about the Metal Gear timeline again. So basically, Metal Gear Solid.
The rumors are true, and we get a new Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, man, that's insane. They're really gonna pump a lot of money into games for it.
Fisher,
My game made me happy. My life is normally really crappy. I hope so too, Fisher.
Fisher, I would say just let go of any hope of there being a Silent Hill or a Metal Gear Solid, because Konami don't give two flying fucks about console gaming.
But I'm really doubting it, Fisher, because of the 2019 pics of Abandoned recently.
Yeah, but more than anything, it's Konami not giving a shit about console gaming, and in particular then that means they don't care about Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid. All Konami care about is mobile gaming and Japanese pinball machines. So Fisher, it's best just to play some classic Silent Hill and some classic Metal Gear Solid. And yeah, Damien, it does appear that Sony are going all out this time with VR2, which is great to hear. My birthday made me happy. My lieges normally really crappy.
I believe Japan Studio were working on Silent Hill, but was cancelled when PlayStation gave up on them.
Turtle,
now I think Bloober will develop Push.
Glad you had a good birthday.
Which sucks because that company is awful.
Glad you had a good birthday, Turtle. Just going through some of the comments here now. I believe Japan Studio were working on Silent Hill, but was cancelled when PlayStation gave up on them. Possibly. And yeah, they are meant to be a crap company, aren't they? Blooper. But as I said, I think we should just let go of any hope of there being a Metal Gear or Silent Hill game, because just Konami. Like, I don't even think they're interested in outsourcing their IPs. So let's just let go of any hope of there ever being a new Silent Hill or Metal Gear game. So yeah, and
Konami also wanted a Telltale style or Until Dawn style Silent Hill game.
It would definitely be a massive departure.
You're probably right. But I like to hurt.
You like the pain, you like to suffer. Oh, well then you're going to have a great time, so Fisher. Damien, that would have been quite a departure, like, from the traditional style of Silent Hill, yeah, but nonetheless though, I would have found that interesting, to be honest.
I'm playing Mortal Kombat 11 us almost. The rumors were pretty fun to jump on though.
Nice, Turtle.
Likely
They were.
To heaven.
They were. Likely make it to heaven. Enjoy Mortal Kombat 11, Turtle. Oh, they were. It was fun, like, you know. That has to be said. So yeah, the complicated timeline of the Metal Gear series. The beginning of the timeline is Metal Gear Solid 3, the Big Boss timeline. Big Boss being
Hassan might set himself up for death threats. Just
yeah,
being realistic.
That is just... Yeah, I mean, that kind of carry on, though, is just ridiculous, like, you know, to actually, like, send a death threat to a game developer.
Another story path.
Oh, the Aftermath story is
because he keeps
quality,
of
Turtle.
MGS and Silent Hill.
Yeah, he shouldn't be doing that, though. He's deliberately, as I said before, like, this guy and his studio is
but
deliberately...
Yoshida is joining in on it too.
Deliberately manipulating gamers into thinking, is it Silent Hill? Just to get all eyes on his project. It's disgusting behaviour, to be honest with you.
So PlayStation will get death threats. Next rolling on the floor laughing.
Possibly, yeah, but it's that kind of crap is uncalled for, to be honest with you, like death threats, like, Jesus. I mean, imagine being that much of a nerd, like, to actually, like, send a death threat to a game developer, like, that is just pathetic, to be honest with you. Yeah, totally. I love the Aftermath story. Believe me, it is quality. So, yeah. So, Big Boss is the father of Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solid Snake. His timeline is the beginning of the Metal Gear timeline, Metal Gear Solid 3. So it basically goes from Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker.
But fans will do it. It's been done before.
Yeah, because some of these fans are just pathetic little nerds who have no life, unfortunately. Crazy carry on, isn't it? So you have Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, and the other PSP games that released. Then you have Metal Gear. Then you have Metal Gear... Then you have Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain. Then you have Metal Gear. Then Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and finally, Guns of the Patriots. So the beginning of the timeline is Metal Gear Solid 3, and the ending to the timeline is Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots. And it is one of the best endings you will ever see. It just brings together all of those characters and all of those timelines. So, quite a complicated timeline, but a very fun timeline all the same. So this is Paz's spy log. Big Boss and Mother Base.
I heard about Paz's tapes.
Yeah. Why do you think she'd leave him behind? And that diary?
Whatever it was, her commitment was wavering. That much is clear.
So she was leaving clues to help us.
No way to know for sure. And the ocean's not giving her back.
November 4th, 1974. At the outskirts of Barranquilla, Colombia. Contact with Big Boss successful. Zadornov posed as my professor, but Big Boss took one look and knew he was KGB. However, he does not seem to suspect me. To him, I am just a peace-loving student, and another victim of the CIA. We asked him to drive the CIA out of Costa Rica. To him, this...
I think my rhymes are trash, something I hate 230 in class.
Your rhymes are A-OK, Mr. Le Turtle. You hit 230 in class. Why?
Smaller than anticipated. They drift from place to place with nowhere to call home. That provided us an opportunity, so we seized it.
Yo, Johnny.
Zadornov offered them a plant off the Costa Rican coast.
Yo, Damien. Were you trying to disguise yourself?
You know, Abandoned wouldn't work on PS4, so they had to switch the development to PS5.
I thought you were pretending to be Saber there for a second. Jesus, I didn't know that. Abandoned wouldn't work on PS4, so they had to switch development to PS5. That's actually, I think that's actually how Resident Evil Village started out, maybe? Through next-gen experience. No problem, Turtle. Thank you for swimming your way into the live stream. I hope you enjoyed. It was nice chatting to you, and I will chat to you in the next live stream. So enjoy the rest of your night.
To use as a base. As expected, Miller jumped at the chance. Although initially reluctant, Big Boss came around when Zadornov played him the tape. All because the voice on it sounded like his mentor, the boss. Naked Snake, the man who once saved the world from the brink of nuclear war. Awarded the title of Big Boss for his service. He later became a mercenary, abandoning both his title and his country. To him, that honor was steeped in the blood of the boss, the mentor he was forced to eliminate. Exceptionally charismatic, he possesses unparalleled combat and intelligence-gathering abilities. His only discernible weakness is her. This operation hinges on how effectively we can exploit that. Kazuhira Miller is Big Boss's lieutenant. Half Japanese, half American. He once served in Japan's self-defense.
Abandoning. Thinking face, rolling on the floor laughing. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Imagine the irony, like, if abandoned actually got abandoned. Imagine, like, the 9th of August, Blue Box Studios come out and announce, we deeply regret cancellation of Abandoned. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for supporting us. No, but I mean, like, imagine, imagine if they came out on the 9th though, and said this a day before the launch of the real-time experience app. Imagine the irony. Abandoned. Honestly, more than anything else, whatever this game ends up becoming,
Imagine
I just
they said
want...
it was Silent Hill, but now it's cancelled. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I'd be happy. Because I just, as I was saying, I just want it to end. So whatever it ends up becoming, people can finally shut the fuck up then. Do you know what I mean? That's that's what I'm looking forward to. More than anything else.
First met as
I'm totally not looking for streamers who hate their viewers.
Not an FBI agent is totally not looking for streamers who hate their viewers. Well, okay. That's an interesting opening. Nonetheless, welcome to Green Hill Gaming. I hope you're keeping very well, and I hope you enjoy my live stream with the first chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes. So enjoy the live stream. Listening to some cassette tapes at the moment and interacting with my lovely viewers who I don't
Totally
hate.
a normal viewer.
Okay. Glad to hear it.
built their private army, with Miller directing business and administrative affairs.
Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Intent is hard to read. I must be careful. All that is clear is his infatuation with Big Boss. With East and West fighting over its control, Central America is now the most contested region on Earth. CIA Central American Station Chief Coldman has developed Peace Walker.
I'ma get fired if I do this, but I have a super intelligent mind.
You're gonna get fired if you do this.
Want proof?
I have literally no idea what the fuck you were talking about, but fire away, you crazy motherfucker.
Launch system with which he aims to reignite the Cold War. Snake's new objective in Costa Rica is to prevent that. Zadornov's, or should I say, the KGB's plan is to play the two sides against each other, turning the entire region red. Not one of the three parties realize they're all just pawns in Cypher's hands. Cypher watches all. Mother Base has developed rapidly since being established in the Caribbean Sea. They recruit more personnel daily, and already their mercenary services are turning a
Do
profit.
you know the person named La Turtle or Apex Gamer or Fortnite Gamer?
You sneaky little devil. It's you. It was you all along. You got me. We got ourselves a real life cipher here. Good one. You fecker.
Charisma, and Miller's business acumen drives.
Lol, you got him big there, haha, I knew who it was. What do you know of them?
Big time. What do I know of them? They're all part of the same psychopathical
Because
person.
your old comments name changed, haha.
Are you serious? Fuck's sake. I just spotted that there now. I only spotted that now. That's a good one. Well, we got our own tactical espionage action happening here in the live stream. Heck indeed.
Joining forces with a faction of the FSLN has expanded their power even more. They have even commenced their own weapons development program. All is proceeding according to Cypher's will.
Rolling on the floor laughing.
That was a good one.
Snake's pursuit of Peace Walker led him to an AI modeled after the boss's thought patterns. It was incomplete, but, somewhat ironically, making contact with Snake was the necessary finishing touch. Meanwhile, the scientist behind Peace Walker's locomotive control, Huey, defected to Snake's army. His presence has greatly accelerated weapons development at Mother Base. I failed to anticipate Coldman's madness, but nuclear war was averted. However, this was only after the boss AI on board Peace Walker sank itself to the bottom of the lake, in what could be likened to suicide. The boss laid down her gun, choosing...
They ruined the series by cutting Big Boss's downfall. Now Solid Snake fights Venom in the original MSX games.
Yeah, I'm actually looking...
doesn't like the name director's cut after Death Stranding Elbow Cup.
I'm actually looking forward to, like, getting to finally experience all of that crazy kind of, like, plot for sure. Because I still haven't completed Metal Gear Solid 5. It's okay, don't worry. You don't have to worry about spoiling anything. I've seen some of the story online as well, so it's fine. Kojima doesn't like the name director's cut after Death Stranding. Yeah, I think stuff like Deluxe Edition...
Oh, my bad man.
And no, you're fine. Honestly, I've seen most of the story anyway. What I was saying is I'm actually looking forward to this, just finally getting to experience that through my own eyes and ears, basically. But yeah, I think like Director's Cut and Definitive Edition, they're all cheesy names, really, to be honest with you. And the spider turtle died. Oh, no way. Did you just infect? Did you bite Turtle and kill him? How dare you? How dare you? I'll get vengeance for Turtle.
Snake, himself a gun, parted ways with her. In doing so, he reclaimed the title he once abandoned. He is Big Boss.
Yes.
Zadornov has been detained. Since this leaves my cover identity without a guardian, the Mother Base staff has taken me in. I am now better placed than ever to monitor their internal affairs. Everything continues to unfold according to plan. The developer of the boss AI, Dr. Strangelove, has also come to Mother Base. With her
and now,
expertise, they can now develop a weapon capable of matching Peace Walker.
Know what? You spider.
Development on the bipedal weapon is now complete. They call it Metal Gear Zeke. It stands there like some sort of mystical guardian. The soldiers gaze on it with pride and reverence. Big Boss has elected to arm it with a nuclear weapon. As an army without a nation, they seem to feel the need for a deterrent against whatever the world might pit against them. It is a dangerous gambit. Why do such a thing? Their nuclear strategy differs from the Americans and the Soviet Union. The superpowers deter attack by revealing their nuclear arsenals to one another. Snake and his men know that if they were to go public with this, the whole world would unite against them. Business would dry up overnight. So they do not plan on revealing the nuke until necessary. This ace-in-the-hole approach is their idea of a nuclear strategy.
It's a good strategy too.
Wielding a deterrent, all the while unable to reveal its existence. I wonder if Snake sees how vulnerable this makes them. Yes. Hijack Zeke? Yes, I did indicate that to be our leverage. But I cannot imagine his agreeing to that now. But did you not raise them to safeguard your governance without borders? No. I have not forgotten. Cypher watches all. Yes, things are proceeding. but modifying Zeke has not proven easy. I am using Zadornov to buy some time. No, I have not forgotten what you said. However... Well, forgive me for asking, but... This is you I am speaking to, isn't it, Cypher? I will fight Big Boss. The world must be ruled by a single will. To defy Cypher is a fate worse than death.
And I believe that is all of the cassette tape, so I'm now up to date with what's going on in the Metal Gear Solid 5 timeline. So there's actually
and
also...
now I'm here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
The name! Oh, fuck. Businessman. That is absolutely...
Brew rolling on the floor laughing.
That is fantastic. Except, I don't own a fucking car. So, do you know what you can do with your warranty? You can extend it up your hole.
I am sad right now.
Why, Saber? What's up? I'm just gonna pop into the kitchen and get some orange juice, and then we won't listen to all that, it's fine. But, just wanted to showcase the music cassette tape. So I'm just gonna pop into the kitchen and get a drink. Refreshments. Jesus. Right, so what's up?
You know, I finished Breaking Bad. I am sad that I finished it quickly. My experience will never be the same. The same with that show, sad but relieved face.
I know, that's what happens when you finally complete a binge watch of your favourite series. I know how you feel. I will find another series, don't worry. Mother-based music selection, so again, Peace Walker. I would love to be able to play Peace Walker. What was Hideo Kojima thinking by releasing it? Okay, it mightn't be the mainline Metal Gear game, but it's a very important Metal Gear game in the timeline of the series, because it basically fills in the gap massively between the events of Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 5, the Big Boss timeline. I'd love to be able to play that game. Like, I know that Hideo Kojima released Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, on 3DS.
FPS.
It is, I believe.
Reboot Buffy so Johnny be snapping and won't let go of the Og elbow cut.
No to rebooting Buffy. No, that should never happen. Ever. End of. Full stop. But yeah, it was a strange decision by Hideo Kojima, really, especially considering just how like PSP didn't exactly...
I played it on 15 FPS to 20 FPS in my terrible PC.
Oh my god, what a disaster that must have been. Like, the PSP didn't exactly set the world on fire, like, you know. Why he couldn't just release Peace Walker on PS3 is beyond me, to be honest with you. Really is. I hope that I get to play some sort of Metal Gear collection, and Peace Walker is part of that collection. But the closest thing I have right now to experiencing Peace Walker is the music. Oh, we actually have Paz's Diary. I'm actually going to listen to all of these, if that's okay with you.
Atari.
I know, yeah. Because I want to inhale Metal Gear Solid 5 this time around. Yep. I want to devour Metal Gear Solid 5. So let's listen to Paz's diary.
HMMMM, yes.
As of today,
As of today, I am asking what the hell is going on. The turtle has evolved into a fucking demon. I'm scared now. Turtle demon. Oh god.
I will be living here at Mother Base. Now my real trial begins. Zadornov was paying my room, board, and tuition, but he has since been captured. I told the man that with no more money from the KGB, I could no longer afford school.
Don't I have my memory still?
And when I said,
I don't know. You tell me. It's your memory.
I would be willing to work, he took pity on me and let me stay. For some reason, Miller really pled my case. That was helpful, but the man is still a fool. His men are no better. They think their training makes them strong, but that kind of strength is nothing in the face of true power. And better yet, they wait on me hand and foot, believing I am just a schoolgirl. Looks like I won't be working too hard after all. Just today, while scouting out the living quarters, I saw a group of them in the corner of the deck making a fuss, going over for...
The demons still handle turtles le mega hot.
You still handle turtles. A la mega heart. Okay.
A bunch of grown hard men, and they're the ones acting like schoolgirls. Look, isn't he cute? What is wrong with it? I just nodded and smiled. I must stay in character after all. I indulged their chit-chat for a few moments. Then one of them asked me to give the thing a name. They had just taken it from its mother. I named it Nuke. I improvised some nonsense about how our compassion for living things...
Anyway, time to haunt Jeff Bezos.
The men gave
Haunt him. Make him suffer.
me a little fish. I held it out in my palm and the kitten happily ate it up. What a pathetic, feeble creature. It sickens me. Today, Chico invited me to go fishing with the soldiers. I suppose finding one's own food does have its merit, but I prefer not to be involved in such a degrading task. And their prattling on about fishing being fun is nonsense. I'm not here to find playmates. Nevertheless, distasteful as it was, I went along in order to maintain my cover. Chico thrust a fishing pole into my hands, and we went up onto the deck where several soldiers had gathered. They welcomed us warmly. With so few women aboard Mother Base, I'm treated like a princess. No one suspects I am neither a teenager nor a student. It was nice and sunny, with a gentle breeze and waves. As I cast my line and waited for a bite, the soldiers began to ask me all sorts of questions. As always, I answered according to our predefined scenario, feigning a smile. As I sat there feeding them lies, the fish began to bite, and the soldiers began to focus on their prey. Chico had his bait stolen by a fish, and got so angry that he stood up and nearly fell into the sea. Everybody laughed. It almost made me want to join in too. At some point, I got a bite myself. The instant after I felt that first gentle tug, the fish yanked the line with astonishing strength, and I let out a cry of surprise. I thought he was going to be huge. It was my first time fishing, and I was a bit flustered, so the soldier beside me helped by supporting the pole from behind. "Reel it in," they shouted. I nodded, turning the handle as fast as I could. I wondered what kind of fish live below the surface, and thought back to the deep sea dives I had to do as part of training. Those were difficult days, but I remember finding the multicolored fish gliding through the water incredibly soothing. After a hard fight, I pulled it up. To my surprise, it wasn't even half a vara, rather anticlimactic. But I wasn't doing it for fun. so I wasn't the least bit disappointed. Nuke was hovering nearby with an expectant look on his face, so I gave the fish to him. All in all, a thoroughly wasted day.
Nice day of fishing.
Preparations are coming along nicely. No one suspects me of being the one to let Zadarnov out of his cell. Today, Amanda and I taught Cecile how to make gallo pinto. It is a simple home-cooked dish consisting of black frijoles mixed with arroz. It is well known throughout Central America, not just in Costa Rica, so it is no surprise that a Nica like Amanda would be good at making it. But I was raised in the States from a very young age, and could hardly even remember my mother's gallo pinto. Having to make chit-chat with that clueless bird lover and the so-called revolutionary was excruciating. And, clueless or not, I will need to be especially careful around Cecile, the one who actually recorded that tape. Thankfully, Miller and his men seem to believe I mistook the tape I found for one my friend made. In any case, one can never be too careful. Anyway, the three of us minced garlic and herbs, then cooked them in a pot with frijoles we'd soaked overnight. While waiting for them to cook, we sautéed onions and arroz in a frying pan. Cecile worked the frying pan according to Amanda's directions, but seemed a bit glum. She does have a knack for cooking, though. She is French, after all. We added water to the pan and watched the arroz begin to steam. While we waited, Amanda shared memories of her mother with us. They had been separated because of Simosa, but the taste of her mother's cooking was still fresh in her mind. When the frijoles were ready, we drained the water, stir-frying them with the rest of the vegetables. Quite a complicated process for home cooking. Nonetheless, it kept them occupied. The longer we sat and talked, the greater the chance of my arousing their suspicions. With women, it is not enough to just bat your eyelashes and giggle. It takes a lot of effort to divert attention. When the arroz was done cooking, we folded it into the frijoles and added salsa, stirring the mixture as it simmered. At this point, for some reason, the conversation turned to romance. Why does it have to be that way whenever women get together and chat? Cecile fancies herself to be well-versed in such matters, and gave Amanda all sorts of advice. It was harmless enough, until, to my irritation, she began pestering me whether there was anybody I liked. Not right now, I said, trying to dodge the question. But she pressed on. It's Snake, isn't it? I gritted my teeth and played it coy. Maybe. Cecile nodded and giggled. He is pretty sexy, isn't he? What a ditz. It's all I can manage to just survive. The thought of romance has never once crossed my mind. I have no interest in that kind of man. Soon enough, a rich aroma began to fill the room. The gallo pinto was ready. Nuke came over and rubbed up against our legs, looking for a handout. Unfortunately, it was not the kind of food a cat would like. We let a few of the soldiers have a bite, and then headed off to the mess hall. The home-cooked flavor we'd achieved was a big hit with the men of MSF. Not that we are trying to impress them or anything. Even I could manage a dish like that. Snake enjoyed it too. Let me make this absolutely clear. I have no interest in that man.
That's what they all say.
Football, or soccer as it is known in the States, is extremely popular here. It has not caught on yet in the US, but it has legions of rabid fans all across Latin America. These fans can get so rowdy that it is commonly believed El Salvador and Honduras went to war in 1969 over scuffles in a soccer match. In reality, tensions between the two countries were already high. The match was merely one of the sparks that set them off. But these people are so passionate about this sport that the story seems plausible. Predictably, many of the soldiers here are fans. They have apparently divided themselves into Costa Rican and Nicaraguan teams and started playing each other. To play, you need a ball and 2 goals. The R&D team built and set up simple goals on the deck. I had absolutely no interest, but Chico insisted that I come and watch. It was not a proper match by any means. The pitch was not even regulation size. But the players and spectators alike got pretty excited. They banged empty cans and shouted cheers through the handmade megaphones. It almost felt like carnival. Huey, the referee, blew a whistle to start the match. The soldiers' training has left them in excellent physical shape, but they lacked the honed skills of professionals, and their play was quite rough. Midway through, one of the men collided with another. They started shouting at one another, but Huey stepped in. I thought we had forsaken our country.
Well, just not to be rude or anything, but he was in a wheelchair, so I fail to see how he can step anywhere.
Become one with the earth, he said, quoting Snake. We're not competing for national pride here, and we are not fighting for the good of any one country. This is not a war. Soccer is a peaceful sport, am I right? The soldiers nodded. They know the pain of war, and they share Snake's vision. Perhaps that is why all this resonates with them. Team Costa Rica was down a man, and somehow I was picked to fill in. Costa Rica had the advantage up until that point. I suppose Huey wanted to keep it balanced. The soldiers agreed with Huey's call. Maybe the Costa Rican players felt an even matchup would be more fun too. I could not be bothered to run at first, but chasing the ball out there in the hot sun, I was soon drenched in sweat. Before long, I found myself actively seeking out the ball, partially out of desperation. I picked up a loose ball deep on the opponent's side of the field. Even though he's Nicaraguan, Chico cheered me on, yelling, "Go for it, shoot!" I launched the ball as hard as I could, only to have it blocked by the keeper. Disappointment only increased my determination. In the end, I didn't score a single goal, and Costa Rica gave up its lead. It was really close, though. We congratulated each other on a good match and sprawled out in the shade on the deck, exhausted. The ocean breeze felt so nice on my sun-soaked body. Nuke came over. It is one of his favorite spots, and stretched out next to me. And together, we watched fluffy white clouds drift lazily across the clear blue sky. It was lovely out today, so I decided to sun myself in a lounge chair up on the deck when Strangelove came up to me. Despite the heat, she was in her usual long sleeves and pants. I waved at her. She looked away and mumbled, "Hello there. Fancy meeting you here." I asked if she needed anything, feeling her eyes creeping up and down my body like she was savoring it. Finally, she swallowed and said, "You have such beautiful skin." Bewildered, I shook my head and said, "No, not at all. I had heard rumors that she was a lesbian, but she couldn't be after me, could she?" She continued to stare and said, "No, it is beautiful, but you must not let yourself get so tanned." And then she took my hand in hers. "What is wrong with a little sun?" I asked, trying to cut the conversation short. But she shook her head violently. "No, you mustn't. A young lady should take better care of her skin." She was acting strangely now, as if
Strangely?
aroused.
Her name is
She
Strangelove,
lectured me on
after
the
all.
perils of tanning, how it ages skin, causing wrinkles and spots, and in the worst cases, even skin cancer. I knew already that tanning could cause spots, but I thought only pale-skinned Anglo-Saxons had to deal with that. Having a scientist tell me it causes aging, though, that spooked me a little. If I am to keep playing the teenager, I will have to start paying more attention to my skin. Sensing my anxiety, she took a small tube from her pocket. She said it was the sunscreen she always used. She told me to keep it. I didn't know what to say. I was more than happy to take it, but exactly what were her intentions? Was she merely being nice? Or is she really into me? Either way, there was no reason to refuse, I suppose. I have undergone training. An out-of-shape woman does not pose any real threat to me. Having power means not being afraid. It is the same on a global scale. A country with nukes can dictate terms to a country without them. I thanked her and took the tube. Then she offered to put some on for me. She squirted some lotion onto her fingers and began rolling it into my chest.
Jesus.
It happened so suddenly, and I was so taken aback that I did not even think to protest. She caressed my stomach with her long white fingers. Then
Fucking metal. Oh shit.
protecting one's health is an important part of any agent's job.
I know.
It was lovely out today, so I decided to... Was she merely being nice? Not being afraid. It is the same on a global... Somehow, her moist eyes met mine. What? Then slid them upwards.
Fucking hell.
And I was so taken aback that I did not even think to...
And this part here is Metal Gear. 50 Shades of Solid.
protest. She caressed my stomach with her long white fingers, then slid them upwards between my bikini-clad breasts. What?
Dear God.
Wait, I sputtered as her moist eyes met mine. She was beautiful. Somehow, I found myself captivated by this woman more than 10 years my elder. Hold still, she whispered in my ear. I nodded silently, unable to refuse. My body went limp, motionless, as if in a trance. Gently, carefully, she rubbed the lotion all over my entire body. I shouldn't have enjoyed it, and yet I could not help myself. For a moment, I was spellbound. That woman is dangerous.
Well,
I had better watch myself.
you better. Dear God.
It was lovely out today, so I decided to... Protecting one's health is an important part of any agent's job. But despite my best efforts, I have caught a cold. Now that I think about it, Mother Base's numbers are on the rise, with soldiers coming from all different places and backgrounds. It is no wonder then that sooner or later someone would bring in a virus. That said, what I have got is just a common cold. The medical team said I'd need a few days rest, so I've been restricted to my room and put on bed rest. I thought I'd gotten used to not having anyone around to relate to, but at times like these, being alone is just miserable. All I could do was lay there and stroke Nuke's back, trying to take my mind off how bad I felt. Nuke just sat there, not making a sound. But I did have visitors. Amanda and Chico, Huey, Cecile, Miller, and a few of the soldiers I've become relatively close to. Amanda made me a soup with herbs she said were good for a cold. Miller told me to take it easy. I will sing you a lullaby, he said, then broke out a guitar and sang some incomprehensible song in Japanese. I did not need to understand the lyrics to know he is an awful singer. Then he said, "You know what is good for a cold? Suppositories. Here, I'll show you." He began to take off his pants, so I threw my tissue
What?
box at him to make him go away.
The fuck
Then, strange
is going on in outer heaven?
saying she had some miracle Indian cure. It has got eucalyptus extract, she said. It works best if you rub it into your chest. And then she tried to take off my nightshirt. I whacked her with my pillow, and they got...
Take a seat. Please. Over there.
of her. Chico brought me a little flower in a cup. It had been growing in a little bit of earth that probably found its way on board, stuck to something else. I found this on the deck. Here, you can have it. He tried to act nonchalant, but I am pretty sure he's got a crush on me. None of them understand. If they thought these little visits would cheer me up, they were wrong. Tonight, Snake himself came to my room. Like the rest, he believes I am just a schoolgirl and treats me as such. Why did you abandon your country, I asked him. Why create the MSF? Of course, I knew the answers already, but I wanted to hear it from him. As I had imagined, he was not exactly forthcoming. All he would say is that his country abandoned him because all he could do was fight. And that is why he needed the MSF, because that is all he is any good for. Then he said, fighting is the only thing I understand, but that does not mean I have got a grudge against those who believe in peace. I am not one of them, and I do not believe in peace. Conflict is in man's nature. We fight our enemies in order to survive. Maybe we are not so different after all, he and I. But that is exactly why I'm going to have to kill him. Or else he will have to kill me. When I stop and think about this wretched existence, being killed by a man like that suddenly does not seem like such a bad thing.
Asterisk smiles in demon asterisk still streaming her.
Still streaming these very exciting cassette tapes. Okay, that mightn't be the most exciting thing ever, but I said at the start of the live stream that I was going to really take my time this time around with Metal Gear Solid 5, starting with the first chapter, Ground Zeroes, and listening to these cassette tapes, the backstory and the diaries is part of that. So yeah, still streaming.
Protecting one's health is an important part of any agent's job. But every month, Mother Base throws a party for all the soldiers whose birthdays fall in that month. There is something strange about a military organization having parties. Really though, it is just an excuse to drink and make noise. It is not easy to get alcohol in a fortress in the middle of the ocean. Most days they are training from dawn till dusk. They do not have time for things like drinking. That is why Snake and Miller came up with the idea, to give everyone a chance to let loose. Obviously, a bunch of boors like that are not going to bother with blowing out candles on a cake. Rather, they sit there in a cloud of cigarette smoke, drink beer, eat meat, tell tasteless jokes, and swap crude insults about one another's hometowns.
Wait, if you clean a vacuum cleaner, you become a vacuum cleaner.
They talk up a storm, but they're just having fun.
Well, that's mind-boggling.
It is funny. You have got members of FSLN rubbing shoulders with the UCLAs, people who once would have considered the other mortal enemies. I wonder if that is what makes Big Boss so popular. In leaving their countries behind, they leave their hatred for other countries too. Miller seemed a little protective of me. Hope they're not being too crude, he said. But soon enough, he too was drunk. He yelled, "Come here and take a look at the real Kazuhira Miller." Then dropped his pants and mooned everybody. The other soldiers burst out laughing. I have never seen such a crude, ridiculous party before. And yet, all these people, laughing and acting the fool. Is this what they call peace? For some reason, I began to think about all that has happened since I came here. Fishing with Chico, cooking with Amanda and Cecile, playing soccer, having visitors when I caught a cold. When I stop and think about it, my time here has been the most peaceful of my life. But that is about to end. I cannot imagine he will be willing to negotiate. It seems I am to fight the legendary Big Boss. I do not know if I'll be able to beat him. But if I have to choose between death and defying Cypher, I will gladly choose death. The thought of dying does not scare me. But if I disobey my orders, the fear and despair awaiting me will be far worse than anything I can imagine. It was Cypher who took me in as an orphan, gave me food and a place to live. His orders may have been unreasonable, but I will never repay my debt entirely. It seems I have no choice. I must fight this man. I must fight Snake. Do you know Miller, Snake's right-hand man? Apparently has got at least one serious weakness. He is an insatiable womanizer. He does not bother me, most likely because he considers teenagers off-limits. But he has hit on every single one of the few female soldiers here at Mother Base. They ought to be telling him where to stick it, but end up falling for it so easily. I think some of it stems from the fact that he is actually not that bad looking. Anyway, today, that nasty habit got him in trouble. He and Snake got into one of their rare fights, and I was there to see it. They burst out of the showers, completely naked, trading punches. Child, the sight of a naked man does not make me blush, but this was something else. Maybe this'll teach you, Snake yelled as he slammed his fists into Miller's chest. I heard later that apparently he had been two-timing someone, and that same someone had gone to Snake with her troubles. As I see it, it is her own fault for letting herself be deceived like that. If she is too dumb to see through Miller's lies, then she got what she deserved. But this was not the first time it had happened, or the second, and Snake read Miller the riot act. Miller argued back, and what began as a shouting match turned into a fist fight. "You son of a bitch," Miller yelled as he swung. "Not bad," said Snake, smiling, "but not good enough." And then he was back on the offensive. They had already been at it pretty hard in the showers, and their bodies were covered with bruises. Both of these men had been trained for war, their bodies deadly weapons. They were each bleeding from a dozen places. All this from a fist fight. Even so, it was far less gruesome than if they had given it their all. It was obvious that one of them would be dead were they fighting for real. Miller took another swing, yelling, "Try this then!" Snake parried, then responded in kind. But I could tell he was not aiming for anything vital. "You are one tough bastard, boss," Miller muttered. A smile crept across his face as he caught his breath. And then they went right on fighting. Blood and sweat flew off their glistening bodies. It was combat without hatred or hostile intent. I had never seen violence like this before. And yet, it was more than just a friendly tussle. They were utilizing every technique they knew. It was not a sporting match. They were not playing by the rules. How could they keep this up? At last, the two men tired themselves out, and the bizarre scene came to an end. They looked at each other's battered bodies, and then burst out laughing, embracing and congratulating each other on a good fight. It all seemed so idiotic. I still cannot fathom such behavior. But somehow, I got the sense that for all his womanizing, Miller really only trusted one person, and that was Snake. There was no way I could ever come between the two of them. And at that thought, I began to feel as if I had lost. All of Mother Base is preparing for a festival. Since Snake and his soldiers spend so much time fighting, they are setting aside one day a year for peace and relaxation. I do not know all the details, but apparently that is what Snake and Miller decided. These soldiers love the idea, of course. There is so little fun to be had here that everybody looks forward to events like these. That is all well and good, but somehow I got roped into getting on stage. "Come on, we even both have peace in our name," said Miller. "And Zdarnov, that old Ruski's name, has something to do with peace too, right? Hey, as long as we're having a day of peace, we ought to get an act together. The Three-Piece Band." I thought he was joking. He then proceeded to share his idea without bothering to check with me. And now, I am slated to sing. Apparently, he had heard me on the deck one day, and since then he's wanted to form a band. Everybody's looking forward to it, so there is no way for me to back out now. I have never done anything like this, but it does feel kind of nice to know that people are looking forward to it. I mean, it cannot be any worse than Miller's singing, but modifications to Zeke are already finalized, and I must complete my mission. Betray Psy for now. and I will face a fate far worse than death. Still, there's no need to put things in motion just yet. What difference would it make to just wait a little while longer? A whole day of peace. The mission can wait until after that. Can it not? I know I am only delaying the inevitable. When the day comes, one of us will have to die. Snake or me. But still, if I could just come up with some way to stall Cypher, at least until our day of peace. When did I start having thoughts like this? My cover is blown. They know nothing of Cypher or my true objective, but they know I am a spy. There is no more time left. I must act now. I must complete my mission. How did it come to this? All I wanted was 3 more days. Just 3. Miller's already finished writing the song. It is called Love Deterrent. It is about a girl who cannot express her true feelings. I have been practicing. I am no pro, but I was pretty sure I would do a decent job. And now this. Cypher found out that Zeke was complete. He must have someone inside Mother Base besides me, spinning his tightly wound web of control, leaving no room for individual will. Typical. When they found out Zeke was complete, I was ordered to execute the operation immediately. If I was going to enjoy just 1 day of peace, I had to ensure the plan could not move forward. I tried to sabotage Zeke. I thought by damaging the drive system, they would have no choice but to delay their plans. I waited until midnight, and then snuck into the hangar. There would be trouble if it looked like sabotage. I selected one of the drive system's load-bearing parts and carefully worked to warp its shape. The leg's drive system requires a high degree of precision to operate. Even the smallest deviation would have done it. Then, Chico walked in. Maybe it was one of those nights where he could not sleep. In any case, he saw me, panicked, and took off running. It would have been easy to kill him, but I could not. I know he likes me. It is not as if I would ever have an interest in a child like him, but I could not pull the trigger. Not at him, not in the back. Will he tell them? Or is there a chance he will keep it a secret? Protect me? No. He knows now. Knows I am not who he thought I was. He ran without even questioning what I was doing. There is no chance he does not know. And soon, all I have built here will end. And if Cypher has another agent among them, if he finds out I tried to sabotage Zeke, this place will no longer be my heaven. Then it is settled. I make my move now. Chico walked in before my sabotage was complete, so Zeke should still be operational. It might not run at full speed or power, but I do not have time to fix that. Without Zeke, I do not have a chance in hell of winning. I must act fast before Chico sounds the alarm. I knew it would come to this. I just did not think it would be so soon. It is time, Zeke. Metal Gear Zeke. Activate.
Metal Gear Zeke, activate. So I'm actually going to spoil myself. Cypher is actually Zero, if I am not mistaken. Zero from Metal Gear Solid 3. Once again, the beginning of the Metal Gear timeline. And therefore the beginning of... I was actually... Big Boss's commander, essentially. That's who Cypher is. I think. I could be wrong now, to be honest with you. Okay, so set the music that plays when your helicopter appears. You know, it would be nice if you could listen to music from other Metal Gear games, because I'm not familiar with Peace Walker, you know? Well, I am familiar with Daniel Bryan's theme song. That will do fine. That will do just fine. I feel like that's the appropriate song to play because oh fuck, it's gone. But okay. My viewers are either going to like me or hate me for doing this now, but considering it took so long to actually get through the backstory and listen to all these tapes, well, I feel like it's the right time to end the live stream here and then get stuck into the actual gameplay another time. So yeah, I will be either loved or hated for doing that. Unless I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into Metal Gear Solid 5, starting from scratch, taking it all in. And, you know, outside of the live streams, although I might be able to, well, it won't be a live stream, but be able to sort something out. As I mentioned earlier at the start of the live stream, I am gone Metal Gear crazy. I'm playing Metal Gear Solid at the moment on PlayStation 1, and I'm going to be restarting Metal Gear Solid 3 tomorrow as well. So there's going to be a lot of Metal Gear going on in my head. So this is actually kind of exciting. I'm liking this, you know. As a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid, it's going to be exciting. So that's pretty much everything with the cassette tapes and the back story. Okay, so what I will actually do before I end the live stream is I will ask the live stream. Apparently I have one person watching right now, so I'm going to ask that one person, would you like me to get stuck into the actual game? Do you want to see some actual gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes? Let me know in the live chat. Otherwise I will take my own advice and end the live stream for now and return another time for some actual gameplay. Save data upload. I'm actually after forgetting what this actually is, to be honest with you. What is this? Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes save data will be uploaded to PSN. Uploaded save data can be carried over to Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that's actually handy. I will do that. So while I wait for a potential reply to my question, from what I know of Ground Zeroes is it's essentially the first chapter of the Metal Gear Solid 5 experience. It is quite short in length, but apparently there's a lot of stuff you can like do and you can collect. So I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. But I think more than anything else, I'm just looking forward to getting stuck into the story, just experiencing the continuation of Big Boss's story. I mean, I've played Metal Gear Solid 3 a few times now. I'm somewhat familiar with what went on there. I think it's fantastic what Hideo Kojima did, like starting from Metal Gear Solid 3, just introducing us to Big Boss, I'm not introducing us to Big Boss, because obviously Big Boss was introduced in the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, but putting us in the driving seat of Big Boss, you know, getting us experience Big Boss up front and center. Nah, I'm looking forward to that now. Okay. It would appear that my viewer is silent. That's fine. I will return to some gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes another time, possibly tomorrow night. It's just that I didn't expect the live stream to be this long, to be honest with you. But I really wanted to get the backstory nailed, and you know, even listen to some cassette tapes as well. So actually, before I end the live stream, I want to see. Okay, I wanted to see the Ground Zeroes get the HDR upgrade. I don't think it did. I know that Phantom Pain did. I think. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of like I ideally I'd like to get stuck into the game right now, but you know, realistically, seeing as it's 25 to 2 in the morning, you know, not really ideal. Sleep is important to me. As of late, for the last almost 2 months now, I've been looking after my health in every way. Eating, exercise, and sleep. So like even now, like 25 to 2, like, it's just quite late for me. Like I should have been sleeping well by now. So time wise, it's not realistic for me to get stuck into this game. Not to worry, Big Boss will be back with all the backstory and cassette tapes and diary entries just nailed into his head. You know exactly who he is and what he's been up to up until now. The next time I go live. Well, it might mean the next time I go live I might play another game in between, but next time I return to Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, there will actually be gameplay this time around. So until then, thank you for watching. I will say good night, and I will see you in the next live stream.